Yeah, I know I look good. Yeah, I look fly. Baby, I'm just your type. I'm a baddie. I'm a baddie. Yeah, I know I look good. Yeah, I look fly. Baby, I'm just your type.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the mental health series on Chat with Lulu. And this episode we're talking about anxiety disorders. And guess what? I'm with your favorite girl again.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, she's back again. She's back again. I'm sure she really enjoyed filming the last one. She likes my company. That's why she came.
She's in love with me.
Oh my goodness!
She's in love.
You don't mean it.
I don't have this goodness.
Oh my god. So we're talking about anxiety disorders today. So Adam, like what's anxiety? What are anxiety disorders about? Tell us about them. What's up?
Alright. So anxiety disorders, they are basically disorders that have to do with excessive fear and anxiety. So you're like you're defining something with what it is. So what's fear and anxiety? Fear is like an emotional response to a known threat, like a perceived threat. Like now if you see a lion coming to here, like the fact that a lot of people are going to jump out, like that's to show you fear.
You're scared of lions.
Exactly, because you can see it. But for anxiety is the anticipation of a future threat. Like the threat is not there yet, but it comes.
So that's like the difference between fear and anxiety. So today we're talking about, like, there are a lot of anxiety disorders, but we're only talking about like separation anxiety, selective mutism, generalized anxiety disorder, and agoraphobia. I know that all these things are just like what we're talking about, but don't worry, you will get to know it. After today, you will comment. In short, be commenting now, be saying thank you now, because you will thank you after hard.
Get a pen and a jotter. Jot things down. I'll wait for you. Get it.
So let's start with separation anxiety. So throw more light on it. What's that?
Alright, so I don't want to go into like too much integrity basically. So before now, whenever you hear separation anxiety, people tend to see it as anxiety for younger children. Yeah, so and that was like DSM-4 basically. The last classification, they usually, like, in order to if you hear someone has separation anxiety, it's a younger person, because they were like, oh, adults do not have separation anxiety, they have fear of abandonment.
Yes, okay.
But for the new DSM, they've given that that room to include adults in separation anxiety. Please give it up for
Woo!
for them. Like now they're seeing us. Because you cannot just say a person has fear of abandonment. Like that's you, like
That sounds somehow yeah.
So now adults too are included in that.
Separation anxiety. Could you give us like maybe examples, features, something about it, like?
Yeah, like basically separation anxiety is that feeling of anxiety that comes up when a person is separated from their attachment figure, like a major attachment figure, right? So like they said, most times you see it like in children and all of that. And there's this girl, I think I watched it. I'm always watching it, you guys. So there's this girl, her name is Maria, and she has separation anxiety disorder. She was taken to see the psychiatrist because, like, obviously mom could already tell that something was wrong with her child, and then she took her to the psychiatrist. You know, this girl found it hard to go into the office without her mom being there. Like, she does not want to be separated from her mom. So the psychiatrist had to inform her that, don't worry, your mom is outside, she's not going anywhere without you. And that one, I can be rest assured to tell you that. And that's how she was able to come.
Stay there.
Guess what? As he was talking to her, he found out that Maria had an episode in school where her mom told her they were going to see a dentist. And when her mom told her that they were going to see a dentist, let's say the mom told her she's coming by 3. And Maria went to the headmaster's office by 3 to wait for her mom. Her mom did not come by 3 because she was delayed. Maria wanted to pee. Like, she was so pressed. Like, she could feel the urine coming out.
Oh my gosh!
But she could not leave there because she had that fear that if she leaves, she will miss her mom. Wow. And guess what? She peed on herself in the office. Wow. She peed on herself, and
just because she didn't want to miss her mom when her mom came.
Right, and it's not like if her mom comes and they say she's in the bathroom,
her mom will not
wait for her. But that fear, they always have that fear that something wrong is happening, all of that. And when she was having the interview with the psychiatrist. We realized that when I was asking her the questions, she has a lot of nightmares, and her nightmares that she has are usually related to the fact that she'll be separated with her mom. She had one dream, I'll call it nightmare, because she was in a house that was burning, but she did not care about the fact that the house was burning. She cared about the fact that her mom was on the outside and she was on the inside. Like her mom is away from her. If her mom is inside the house with her burning,
She
no
would have been
problem.
okay.
But the fact that her mom was not with her, and that's it. They have everything that they have. Their symptoms always related to the fact
To that person, they are separated from that person.
And
So
for
now-
adults, their attachment figures, for younger ones, their attachment figures are usually their parents or their caregiver. For adults, their attachment figure could be their significant other. Yeah, although that seems a little similar to dependent personality disorder.
Okay.
But for that one, it could be their significant other or even their child.
Okay. What would you advise the person to do? See a psychiatrist, therapy, or like,
Most times it's always like therapy, behavioral therapy.
Okay.
So that they can be able to teach them, because all of this has to do with their mind. They're going to be able to teach them to cope with the feeling and to be able to remember the fact that, oh, this person will not go.
Yeah, this person is still there.
They still there. Even the psychiatrists, they usually talk to parents like that. They always try to give tell them to speak, have reaffirmative sessions
More
with
like
their child.
reassurance, to just reassure the child, okay.
Yeah, and now like something like, let's say I have a child that has that separation anxiety disorder, and I'll be giving him like starting a little like small exercises to show him that even if I go, I will come back.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can stay here with him by the room. I'll leave him here, walk to the end of the room, and come back to him.
Okay.
So all those small exercises, giving them that little reassurance, is little, but it builds
goes a
up.
long way.
Yeah, and she could also like tell him, leave him in the house and be like, I'm going downstairs to pick up the clothes. I'll come back in the next 5 minutes. And she does that. And that's the thing, you don't lie to them. You tell them what is going to happen and make sure you keep to it, because that's what's going to stick in their mind.
Their
That
brain, yeah.
this lady would come back, whoever it is would actually come back, because they do not, they feel that you would leave them and that something bad might happen to you when you leave them. So for separation anxiety disorder, the funny thing is it can be heritable.
Wow.
So if I should have separation anxiety disorder, my child can
Can have it.
and usually it's triggered by they have inability to cope, like with little things, like if they move to a new environment, they can't cope. If they get married, they can't cope because it's such a drastic change for them.
So selective mutism. So tell us, what is tell us about it.
Okay, for selective mutism, I would like to use that word. Mute is a mute. Make sure you keep quiet, close your mouth, zip it. But selective, like you're keeping quiet
Particular situations.
in particular
Okay.
situation.
So could you give us like a story on it also? You know you like movies and stories. You can just
Okay, for selective mutism, yeah, you can have the child being as normal as can be. It's usually more present in children, by the way.
okay.
As normal as could be like in the house, because they're free. They're usually free with their immediate, just primary family members. If they're aunts, then they might not be as free as they would be. So they usually have that home where they are as normal. Like their parents might not even know something is going on with them. But when they go outside, they can't speak. Like they try to, but they cannot. Like it's like their mouth is sealed shut.
Wow.
Yep. And there's baby boy, his name is Lee. Like he's so cute. But I watched the video and that's the thing, most of all these disorders, in order for you to connect with them, you have to see them on that level. You might read about them, you might see things, but you'll not be able to feel what they feel until you're able to experience their life with them. So Lee had selective mutism at home. This boy is the most adorable, talkative child you can think of. Like in the video, he was by the window and he just go, oh, mommy, come and see this rabbit here. And then the mom ran from where she was coming. Then when we knocked, I said, oh, you're so late. You're so cute. And yeah, she did not know anything was wrong with him because he was as a normal child at home.
Okay.
But then started going out, and then when they go out, at first she thought he was a shy child because she was also shy when she was younger.
Okay.
But she realized that it was more than shyness, because couldn't talk to the neighbors, you will ask them like him a question and he will not say anything. You can see him trying, but he can't get it out.
Wow.
He can't get it out. And the thing is, when they keep asking them that, most of their parents usually now answer the question for them. But we have to stop that. Like, it's really wrong, because you reinforce that habit of theirs. The fact that they know that rescue
Mommy will
is
always
coming,
answer for me.
so they always keep short.
Wow.
They always keep short. A lot of therapists will tell you not to do that. When, like, in the treatment aspect of it, they'll tell them that when they're being asked a question, don't say anything. They will look at you. They'll keep looking at you like,
You're not talking. You're not talking.
well, don't say anything. Give them like 5 minutes. And the thing is, during that therapeutic process, they ask them simple questions that they know they would know. Not like they'll ask them something that you say, oh, maybe the child is quiet because they don't know. Yeah, so they always do that.
Wow. Wow. But then, like, when you give them time, eventually they get to talking. It gets to
Not give them time if they undergo therapy.
Okay.
That part of them realizing the fact that no one will come to their aid, they now decide to come
let
out.
it out eventually. Wow.
Yeah.
So what should you do as a therapist? Like, what do you do?
In selective mutism, there are pros, like things you should do and things you shouldn't do with a child.
So this is a therapist and a parent, and like, okay.
So we have what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't command them.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm telling you now, do that right now. All of that, you make them coil back into their shell.
Okay.
Like they would not say anything to you. Like, you make them feel that hostility, and you just
Push them back in.
exactly.
Okay.
You don't command them, and you don't use that opportunity to teach them. Like, if they start speaking, like, you already give them the opportunity to start talking for themselves. And let's say they say dragon is purple. You don't not come and say, oh no, dragon is not purple. Dragon is this. Like, you don't do that, because they now feel that anything they say is wrong.
It's wrong. So they still go back.
They go back
into
again.
their shell.
So you
Wow.
don't use the opportunity to teach them. Anything they say is right. Ask questions. People will be like, oh, why should questions be at what you should not do? For children with selective mutism, when you question them, you put them on the spot. And when you put them on the spot, they move. So when you have a session, or you're together with a child with selective mutism, what you should do, you don't be like, oh, why is this, or why don't you talk, or why don't you, like, don't ask them all of that. You ask them, oh, what do you want to do? And anything they do, or sometimes some people don't do anything, but if you don't do anything, you make them to just stay there and be looking at you. But you can ask them, what would you like to do? And they lead the way. So what they want to do is how you follow up with them and do the other pride stuff that I spoke about. So it's always the child's choice as to what to do during a therapeutic session. For children with selective mutism, you have to be really, really careful with them, because like, there are things they do, and there are things they do, and you want to encourage them, because it's something that it's out of their comfort zone. So they're doing it, and you have to tell them, oh, this thing you're doing is good. So they want to
them to do
more.
Okay.
Right. But the do's, you have like the ceremony pride. The first is praise. So you praise them, but the praise has to be labeled. Like, if I say, oh, Oluchi, fine girl, I'm praising you, but I'm not.
It's not labeled.
It's not labeled.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what I'm praising you. But if I say, let's say you draw something, and like, oh, you're such a good boy, you drew this. Like, you tell them,
this is why I'm praising
this is why
you.
I saw that you did this. That is so lovely. Like, you tell them that, and the reason why. So that praise already gets to them, and then
encourages them to
do that
more.
thing again, because you're telling them that this thing you did is why I'm doing that.
Okay.
Right. So the next one is reflection. So the reflection is, let's say Oluchi is drawing, and she draws a sun, and you be like, oh, that's a sun, that's so beautiful, thank you. Like, thank you for showing me, thank you for this. Like, literally, you'll be saying thank you for everything you do, so that they know it's appreciated. They know you see them, you hear them, you're there for them, all of that. Like, it just encouragement all the way. And then you have imitation. For I for imitation. So you have most times when adults are hanging out with children, they just stay and watch the child. And in this one, they already feel under pressure. So if I am drawing, I'm a child with selective mutism, and I'm drawing, and you're drawing with me, I feel like what I'm doing is impressive. So imitation is you doing exactly what they're doing, right? Then description is like, you know, all these commentators like in a football game, and they're like, oh, that's Samuel Eto'o, Samuel passes to drama, and drama passes, it's good, and this they go. Exactly. So that's what you'll be doing as they are. Everything they are doing, they pick up the pen. Oh wow, you're picking up the pen. Oh, that's a circle. Oh no, it's a sphere. Like, you're describing what they're doing as they're doing it. The reflection one is when they're done, you're just saying, oh, this is what you did. Yeah, but for that one, as it is going on, so they see that, oh, someone is actually paying attention to me. Right. And then E is excitement. Like, you give them things to be excited for, you give them encouragement. So that's the E.
The next one is generalized anxiety disorder. So like generalized anxiety.
Like, whenever you hear someone that, oh, I have anxiety and all of that, it's usually generalized anxiety disorder they're referring to. Generalized anxiety disorder, they have anxiety for everyday activities. Like, it's not easy for them. Like, normal things that people will be able to do, they find it hard to do because they feel anxious. Like, they just feel anxious about everything. Or like, let's say I'm at work and my friend calls me, oh, I'm coming to your house today. And then, my house, you're coming to my house. Oh, and then maybe my house is fine, but I have to come back home. And like, I leave my job to come back home to make sure, oh, my house is actually fine for my friend to come and visit. So if like a normal person will be like, oh, if it's my friend, fine. My house is scattered, so you can come in. Yeah, so they have anxiety about like everyday thing.
Tell us a story and like maybe a management for it. If you know a friend that has generalized anxiety, like how can you help?
Yeah, for generalized anxiety disorder, they're usually giving ways in order to bring their anxiety to
calm them down. Yeah, to bring it down. Okay.
So if let's say someone is driving on the road and then they start feeling that anxiety, the therapist is going to tell them like they should first find a place to get themselves to a store, and then they go there and they perform what you call self-therapy. That's you telling yourself, oh, Ada,
namaste.
Exactly, Ada, calm down. It's fine. Everything is okay. You can breathe. It's not the end. Like, you talking to yourself and you giving yourself that self-affirmation is better than someone else doing that to you. So you do that and you get yourself to a plateau and then you can continue what it was
you're doing. Okay.
But if self-therapy does not work for you, we have other things that you could also do. You could engage in exercises. A lot of people, when they perform exercise, they get free of a lot of those things. And some people are even asked to join like group therapies. So the fact that they say, I'm not the only one that has this. Like, it's just wonderful. Oh, you too? You feel that, oh my gosh, so I'm not the only one. Like, it just gives them that reaffirmation. Right? And apart from that, they usually advise not to take coffee or alcohol. Those are like adrenergic stuff, like things that will
boost it up.
Exactly.
And increase your problem.
Exactly, and they make them more anxious than they already are. So they advise them to stay clear of those.
And then there are also like medications that your psychiatrist can also like give
not
you.
go to that.
They won't go to that stage. And finally, we are speaking on agoraphobia. Agora. Goro.
Okay, so agoraphobia is usually the anxiety or fear that has to do with a person in a situation where they're going to feel trapped.
Okay.
Like, they are in a situation and their fear is not the fact that they are in that situation. It's the fact that they feel they're going to be trapped,
or they can't run away,
or if a panic-like symptom comes about, they cannot escape.
They can't escape. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's just their fear, and usually it happens in like social settings. But agoraphobia is very, very like most times people are always like, in order to diagnose agoraphobia, they have 5 different categories of places that it can occur, and it has to be that your fear has to be in at least 2 of those categories, right? The first one is being in an open space. Next is being in a closed space. Another one is being in public transport. We have being in a crowd or on a line.
On a queue, that's the bank.
The bank one. And then the last one is just being away from home.
Okay.
If someone has that anxiety happening to them when they are in a bus, and they also have it when it's occurring in airplane, both of them are still public transport. So it will not be said to be agoraphobia
because it's the same category per se.
Yeah, so instead it will be said to be situational phobia. So they're just having the phobia for that situation, which is public transport.
Yeah.
But if they have in bus that is public transport, and you have when they are at the queue in the back, it will now be diagnosed as agoraphobia.
So like, is there like a treatment or still therapy?
Yeah, it's just therapy. Most times all of this is your mind, baby. Baby, it's in your
the
mind.
Power of your brain.
Your brain.
The brain is so powerful, gosh. And it's so sad that, I'll just like to spot it, it's so sad that like people believe that your kidneys can fail, you can have hypertension, you can have diabetes, but the brain that works like round the clock, your brain that is always on it, we hardly like see psychiatrists because of this stigma and all that, but it's just a sickness of the brain, you know, like the brain is sick, that kind of thing, just like every other organ. Like, it's just so. But yeah, with that, we've come to the end of this episode. See you in future episodes, and bye.